Let's get into those bust/overvalued guys. Now, we always say it in this video because we always get a lot of flack for a lot of guys. We're not necessarily saying all these guys are going to have bad seasons. We're just saying some of them are going a little too early in drafts for our liking. We think you got to pay top dollar for them. We say pass on them for where you normally have to take them in the draft and let someone else take the gamble on them. Don't forget to check out all our other rankings and our cheat sheet on the site. Brent, kick it off.
Bust/overvalued. So some of these guys are going to have good years, but you have to draft them too high. Just reiterating that one last time. All right, first guy is Ichiro out there with Seattle. Here's the deal. The guy's 39 years old at this point. Last year was the first year he didn't bat over 300. He was at 272. Sure, you're going to get some bags for him. He's probably going to get almost close to 40 again. But where you have to take him in the draft, you're going to be passing on great stud players. We say let somebody else grab the name.
Next, we're going to get some flack for this one, and that's Curtis Granderson. Amazing year. You can't take that away. But here's what scares me about him. He's been around for a little while. That was his best year home runs-wise by 11 home runs, and his best years with RBIs by 45. I'm not saying it can't happen again. I'm just saying it probably won't. And you have to take him in the early second, even late first to get him. I just think that's way too risky. Let someone else take that risk. If he slips, then go ahead, but I don't think he's going to slip.
Let's stick with that Yankee hate, and we're going to go to Nick Swisher. Here's the deal. Nick Swisher is just the epitome of mediocrity. He's a solid guy, but he's never had over 100 RBIs. He's never batted over 290. He's only hit over 35 home runs one time in his life. You know, he's just not that great all around, and where you have to take him is right where you can be grabbing the young with upside guys. You hear us talk about it all the time. We'd rather take young with upside over old, boring, reliable, and that's what he is. It's Nick Swisher.
I like your boring voice. That's pretty good. Next, we got Joe Nathan. You know, I'm a big Joe Nathan fan, ex-Twin. He's out in Texas now, a team that's going to win a lot of ball games. I think people are going to be excited about that fact. He does have the potential of putting together another solid year, but here's what scares me. He's got Mike Adams, who's a very capable setup man that's going to be nipping at him, and if Nathan struggles a little bit, I don't think they're going to be afraid to throw Adams in there. I just think for where you have to take him, the risk is not worth the potential reward.
All right, it's that time when everyone gets to hate on us. Dustin Ackley. That's our next guy we're going to be talking about as a potential bust candidate /overvalued. Here's the reason. I know he's second base. I know he had a pretty good year, 270, 6 home runs, 6 bags, and about 330 at-bats. But his minor league stats were never that great, and the hype is going way too far on him. This is the kind of situation where everybody has him as such a great sleeper, such a great undervalued guy, that his average draft position is going way too high for our liking. We say, you know, if you can get him at the right price, go for it. But don't reach ridiculously on this guy, and that's probably going to happen in your draft.
Moving on, we got Jose Reyes. Great year last year. And shocker, it was during a contract year. He just got paid. But he's a 292 career hitter. Last year he batted 337. Like I said, he just got paid. We don't necessarily like guys that have great career years right when they get paid. You know, a lot of times they'll come crashing back down to earth. You're going to have to pay top dollar from him this year. And he doesn't have a lot of pop. Only 7 home runs last year. Yes, he will give you the bags. It's a tough position to fill. But we say you're going to have to take him way too early for our liking.
Next is a guy that had a resurgence over the past 2 years, and that's Paul Konerko. Now, granted, he was great the last 2 seasons. But, again, this is an overvalued show, so where he's going in the draft, you're going to have to be taking him ahead of guys like Utley and Cruz and Strasburg. And to take a guy that's 36 years old, a 36-year-old first baseman nonetheless, a position that's really deep that early, we just say, you know, he might digress again, go back to how he was a couple years ago. Just we'd stick clear of him.
Moving on, we got Jason Worthless. I hated it when the Nationals gave him that big money deal. I thought they overpaid for him by a ton, and he proved it last year with a very mediocre year. You know, he has some power, and he does throw in a little bit of speed, but he's never batted over 300. He's never had over 100 RBIs. In the outfield position, it's not that hard to find a power hitter that's going to bat for a terrible average. So don't worry about where you have to take Worthless, because you shouldn't be looking at him in the draft unless he slips real far.
Next, we're going to be talking about DGordon. I know what you're thinking. This guy's going to get you a ton of speed. How can he be on this list? But that's all he's going to get you is a ton of speed. He's going to probably get you 2, maybe 3 home runs at best, and you're going to be hoping for about 30 to 40 RBIs, and out of a guy that you're going to probably have to take in the 9th, 10th round, those are just such terrible power numbers. We just say, if he slips to the right spot, go ahead and take him. But, there's a lot of other guys in that frame that has a lot more upside that can fill it up a lot more in DGordon.
And our last guy, a guy that we've gotten flack for putting on this show before. But we have a template that we start with when putting together the list for all these shows that we do. And on our bus show for baseball, Josh Hamilton is now in our template. So he just shows up every year because he's always overvalued. In 2009, he only played 89 games. In 2010, he only played 133 games. Last year, he only played 121 games. He's a great talent, but he can't stay healthy, and he's constantly getting overdrafted with an ADP of about 30. That's just way too early to take on an outfielder that is probably going to miss around 40 games for you.
So that's it. Every year, Josh Hamilton, we're going to get hated on, and then he's going to get hurt. So with all that said, check out our site for our cheat sheet. We got all the other rankings up, the other videos. Check those out. And of course, if you have any draft day questions, keeper questions, or just you want us to rank your team, go ahead and post it in our forums at fantasysmacktalk.com.